This is my second brain. Every dot that you see here is a real day or a client interaction or a real idea I had at 2 in the morning. And every line that you see is a connection that my system found between them without having me to manually draw them myself. I built this with Codex completely from scratch. And today I'm going to walk you through exactly how to build this folder by folder, prompt by prompt. So by the end of the video, you'll have your own second brain. I first created my second brain because I wanted something that tracked me learning to run a business, serve clients, pick up technical skills, and get more disciplined all at once. Those things for me are quite interconnected. For example, if I have a bad client call that might mess with my overall energy, if I have a realization at midnight that might affect how I do a sales call the next day, if I waste a day, I might learn something from that comes up and is relevant maybe 3 months later. And so most journals where they just record what happened, I wanted something that did more. And really, the value of building your own second brain is that you're going to have something that captures your days, compares what you expected to happen versus what actually happened, pulls out lessons, connects it to every other time that something similar happened, and is going to allow you to basically start to recognize patterns that show up recurringly in your work, in your life. And that's something that you can then recognize in real time. And the basic idea is that the experience is going to be worth more because it compounds over time since you're able to connect it and use it. So to get into the build, I've created this doc which kind of just lays out all of the prompts that I used when building this in Codex. I'm going to provide a link to this in the YouTube video so you can follow along with this when you're building your own. To kick things off, if you don't have Obsidian, you need to go and get that. So their website is just obsidian.md. I'll throw the link to that in the video as well. They have the download for Windows and then Mac and other stuff down there too, depending on what system you're running. Now, once you have Obsidian installed, you're going to just come into here and create a new vault. I'm going to just name mine Second Brain. My typing is way off today. And then you just want to find somewhere to store that. I'm going to keep mine on my desktop and create. Now, once it's created, you're going to see your new vault. This one currently only has 2 files in it, the welcome file and a create a link file here. And so you can see there's just 2 connections happening in here. But obviously, as you add more and more notes and more of your thoughts, you're going to get that beautiful spanning graph view that I showed you at the start of the video. Now, this is where we're going to hop into Codex and start actually building out that vault. So inside of Codex, you just want to start a new project for this. I have one here called Second Brain. And in there, you just want to make sure that you're pointing it at your Obsidian Vault. So I'm going to go here, add a new project, use an existing folder, and just find that vault on my desktop. There it is, Second Brain. Select folder. And now we're actually working inside of the Second Brain folder. Now, this is when we are going to go and grab those prompts that I showed you from the doc, and we're going to just paste them in here to actually have this built out. So the first prompt here is for creating the vault structure. So this just creates the folders that we actually want to save everything in. Now, the way that I have laid my folders out is I have a folder for my daily work logs because I like to log what happened during my days at work, my daily action plans. So that's kind of like my to-do list for the day. And I actually have a really intuitive way of connecting those two. So every time I fill out my action plan, I basically get an automatic log of my day generated from the fact that I just filled out that plan, and daily journals. And then there's some extra things here I have, like my writing vault. So if you do any writing, it's great for that. My biz notes, and then stuff for clients. Now you can of course edit this prompt a bit to change it up. So whatever you would need, maybe if you're a content creator, you could change one of these folders to be content instead. But essentially you can tweak that prompt a lot to get it to give you exactly what you want. So I'm going to just go ahead and copy this and then come over into Codex and paste the entire thing. And once you pasted that, you can just send it, and Codex is going to understand and start actually building out that folder structure. So we can keep an eye on that over in, so you can see in Obsidian that the nodes are actually starting to automatically appear as Codex is building that out. So you can see it's built out some of the templates for the weekly review, the daily journal template, the daily work logs template, and the daily action plan template as well. Great, and that's completely done. So now that's done, we're going to go and grab the next prompt. So this prompt is for creating a structure around the daily plans, the daily journals, and the daily work logs. So the reason that I've done that three-tier split is because for me, plans are just a way of saying everything that I anticipate will happen in a day. So whatever I have planned in the day, I literally log my intended energy level, like what I think my energy level will be when I think I'm going to start work, if I have specific meetings or specific times that I want to do anything, all the tasks that I plan on getting done in the day, I'll just lay them all out into the plans. And then as I go through my day, I can just tick off things and say where things actually follow the plan and where things drifted away from the plan. And from that, I just generate a full work log that basically understands how different my day was from the plan. And then my journal is just a way of me just free flowing my thoughts about the day. So I'm going to come here and copy this prompt and then come here into Codex once again and just paste the whole thing. And you can see as it's starting to add more of these files, even though we haven't even given it any of our personal logs so far, you can see that it's starting to make more of these connections already. So now on to the next prompt. So the third prompt is for the concept template. Now, concepts are really like the central part of the second brain. They're what kind of ties everything together. A concept is really any idea that turns up recurringly. If I have a specific thing that I just notice tends to turn up a lot, or that's very important to me at a given time, I'll save it as a concept file. And because it's saved as a concept file, every daily journal or work log that references that, I'm able to link it into that. And then that's how you get those really sort of large nodes. So if I show you in my own second brain, you can see that some of the concepts I have here, automation, and you can see all the places that ties to. You can see sleep as operational infrastructure. That's a very recurring concept because it's a bigger node. You can see pain as feedback. You can see intrinsic motivation. So most of these bigger nodes are concepts and they actually tie all of these different things in together because those are the things that recur the most. So we're going to jump in here and grab that concept prompt and just paste it here into Codex and let it rock. Cool, so that's the concept prompt done. We are now going to jump in and grab the next prompt, which is the anchor file. So the anchor file essentially is a file that the AI agent is going to read every time it goes through your vault. And it essentially just anchors it so it understands all the context about you, who you are, what the vault is for, some of the core tensions and challenges, and it's actually going to update this file consistently to make sure that it stays up to date. So grab that prompt and back into Codex, let it run. Seneca, hello, what are you meowing? Seneca, let me finish my video, please. Please, sir. Great, so the anchor file is done now, and we're going to jump in and get the last build prompt. So this prompt is what actually establishes the connection between all of your different types of files, your action plans, your daily work logs, your journals, the concepts. This is going to make sure that they all get intuitively connected. So you get that really beautiful Zettelkasten style, that really beautiful second brain graph view developing over time. So I'm going to just grab this prompt, head back into Codex, and let it do its thing. So now the final prompt is in and the full vault structure has been built out. We now have an empty vault ready to turn into that second brain. As you can see, we have the full folder structure out here laid out. Now, to start populating this second brain, all you need to do is day by day start filling it up with your action plans, your logs, your daily journals, And over time, you're going to get an amazing second brain build that you can actually use. So the way you do that is just come over here into templates, and you can see we have templates for all those things: action plans, concepts, daily journals. Let's say I wanted to make an action plan. I would just copy this template and move it to the action plans folder, which is here. And then I would just rename it to, today's date is 2026 2106 P. So that's the naming convention. And just save that. And then I would just change the date here, 2106. Change the date here and throughout, and then just fill it in with all the things that I want to get done for the day, essentially. And then we do the same, of course, with the journals and the work logs. And as you do that over time, you're going to get that really beautifully built out. Now, rather than actually do all of this manually, I've actually built out an app that helps me to populate this by me just speaking my plans, my journals, my work logs to it. And if you want to know how to do that, I actually made my previous YouTube video about that, so you can look at that too. Now, once you have the second brain, you're going to be able to point an AI agent at it and use it for self-help, content creation, pattern recognition, whatever really. And what I want to do now is show you one of the benefits of having the second brain by pointing Codex at it and having it show me the areas for improvement that I can work on. So I'm going to come back here and grab the last prompt. This is the prompt is for a leverage map. So essentially what I want is for Codex to look at my second brain and show me where I could get the most leverage out of changing things in my day-to-day. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this prompt. And back in Codex, I'm coming into the project where I stored my own working second brain. And I'm going to just paste that prompt and let it do its thing. So you can see that it's literally working through that there. It's scanning the vault's plan and logs. You can see it's saying that the vault contains 123 matched plan log dates spanning November 2025 through June 2026. Hello, Seneca. Oh my God. You good? Bruh. Okay, awesome. So it's finished. I'm going to just copy the link and then come here into the browser, have a look at what it made. Cool. So this is the leverage map. It says protect 5 acquisition blocks every week. Put one on each weekday before delivery expands. A block closes only after acquisition work ships. Weekly minimum 5 protected work blocks. Delivery does not enter them. So acquisition is just me basically doing sales stuff, outbound and inbound sales stuff. So here it shows the gap to close. Delivery gets the strongest follow through. Acquisition is the category most often left untouched and has the lowest task completion rate to reserve space for the work that creates the next engagement. So acquisition most often displaced by the day. Yeah, so this is definitely true. It's basically just saying that I need to focus more on my acquisition and sales stuff for the business. Operations is like a middle ground, and then delivery, which is the work I do for clients, gets the clearest path through. So it's basically showing me I can get the most leverage by focusing on acquisition and sales. And that's definitely something that I knew in the back of my mind, but seeing it laid out here in terms of actual stats is definitely an eye opener because I can literally see how much of it that I've been missing versus actually doing. Predictable friction. So these are the things that have been getting in the way. Late starts compress the day. So yeah, I've been fixing my sleep schedule lately. So this is definitely something that it would have picked up. Client work and calls make the day reactive. So basically just balancing my time between delivery and calls more. Attention drifts before outward facing work. Yeah. When the usable window shrinks, reactive work gets a day, acquisition rolls forward. Place acquisition before the window can be consumed early in the working cycle with a defined. Yeah, that's really great advice. Essentially saying I should do the thing that I tend to put on the back burner. I should just put it at the start of the day. That way, when I get into the actual run of my day, it doesn't get as deprioritized as much. And then a coach's note at the bottom. Do not wait for a clear week. Build the 5 blocks into the week you actually have. So from the sounds of it, it's essentially saying I should have 5 acquisition blocks and probably put them at the start of my day let's say a 5 day week. I put it at the start of each day, and that's the biggest leverage that I can essentially get out of my days and my business. Even just that is a super helpful insight that I'm able to get just by having this second brain. And that's something that maybe if I had tried to think of it myself, I would be like, where am I missing something? But being able to actually see it laid out like this gives you a really obvious way to actually action the things in your life that you want to change. So that's really everything. If you want to now go ahead and build out your own second brain, like I said, this doc is going to be in the description of the video. So you're going to be able to follow through and get one of these up and running. I would really love to hear if this is something that has helped anybody, and I really hope it does.